on out there, YouTube? This is SEL0320 representing JVS. I've got the league here with me. We are about to go and dissect episode 3, The Battle of Winterfell, The Long Night. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, Sam?
It's a good day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
the day after night.
Oh man, Patrick. So I'll let you start it off, man. Pat, what did you think about the episode?
I thought that was a fantastic episode all by itself. Like, the episode alone was fantastic. But as a conclusion to 7 seasons worth of story, I thought it was a little bit lackluster. Those are two different things. If I just watched that as a movie, I would have loved it. But the fact that we built 7 seasons up towards this so-called long night, and then the long night was finished in, a flash, I don't know. I was a little bit let down by that. They just being the big bad. I thought that the Winter King went down pretty easy. Also, bad tactics all around by their strategy.
True. I kept thinking the same. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
He did not know how to fight. Jon Snow should not ever do any more battle planning.
No,
just send
not
out the forces to die.
Don't know how to use cavalry at all.
So yeah, we're gonna go and dissect all that a little bit later on.
Anyways, I really enjoyed the episode as I was going through it, but then after the episode, as I was thinking about it across all the seasons, I was let down.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. We'll go into it. Chris, what do you think about the episode summary?
I thought it was pretty great. Somebody that's, again, fresh watching all the seasons, like catching up before this new season started, I did enjoy a lot of the callbacks, particularly with the Arya and Bran stuff. Like, it was kind of funny that some people online didn't catch that reference, which was weird to me. I'm like, you guys watched this longer than I have, and you guys didn't catch that? Like, whatever.
Yeah, we can't remember that stuff. I was
I know, for you. You just binged everything.
I know, but the thing of it is, I've seen some. It's in particular certain people that like had this attitude, like, oh man,
those certain people are just as fucking experienced as you.
I know, that's why.
In other words,
surprising.
Idiots.
I could not remember the Arya and Melisandre had ever met. I was like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, but like I said, the Bran Arya thing was pretty dope. Seeing her, like, again, you see the whole season, you seeing her grow to this being this badass assassin. So I like that this episode basically paid it off to where it made sense for her to do what she did. Yeah. Kind of, Sam, another character. Yeah, I know, Anthony.
I don't actually know
it. Like I said, I will never doubt D on his predictions on who was going to survive. I was like, shit, right. And just to kind of end it off, I agree with D. Tormund needs to, get up in them Brienne guts. Do it. Go.
How white did you just say that? He needs to get in those guts. All right, yeah.
Good old guts.
Oh my
God. Could have said uteries. I mean, I could have said that.
Uteries.
I was 40 years old.
Yo, I can't even. Anthony,
bring a little spice to your show, Sam. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Sam, let me make it very clear. I ain't say nothing. That was him talking about guts.
but he signed your name to it. So.
I know I can play because I cuss a lot. I totally understand that. But that was that motherfucker over there.
All
right. So I feel a lot of the same things that Patrick already said. The battle.
Look at that. We didn't talk to each other about this, and we agreed.
Not at all. But I can almost guess how you could say, like, they don't know how to use cavalry or shield walls or castles. Like, I'm pretty sure any of us could have planned a better defense of Winterfell, right?
It just left all that land open,
right?
I disagree.
No, I bet you I could plan right now that's better than what they did.
No. True. We all think we know that.
No, I know it.
How do you stop somebody that makes all the dead people on the field rise back up, though?
Exactly.
All right, so this is what you could do. If you really want to know, I could go into it.
There's an
Is this the
advantage
section
to
for it?
prepared positions, and it's
Right.
not just the castle wall.
Don't use the cavalry to charge in. If it's a wave of zombies, use castle walls and shield walls to break the wave. Have the cavalry do hit and run attacks on the side to draw off some of their numbers, or flank them. If they're waving, like just a flank. You had all the numbers, all the. All right. And also,
why it sound like you playing D&D?
It does.
I
It
mean,
does because I
he
got
is.
D&D. It's
No,
I totally
Game
get
of
it, bro.
Thrones.
Totally get it. I totally get it. And
The
look,
moment they went on a quest to kidnap a zombie, Game of Thrones became D&D. Thank you very
true
much.
shit. So I'm just saying they didn't know how to use cavalry. They didn't know how to use shield walls. They didn't know how to use castle walls. And I've been saying for the last week, everybody's like, no, that's not happening. You're in a crypt. None of the smart people. So this was all right. This is what Game of Thrones has been for like the last 3 seasons since they got off of books. It's been really great for TV, but it hasn't been epic TV like it was before. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode, even though
Not just epic, thoughtful. Like
thoughtful
in the
and
old
layered.
seasons, they would actually consider things like what Anthony is describing. Actually,
Yeah, and you know, I really think that they changed a lot of things about how this is going to play out in the story when the books comes out. I think a lot of things don't make sense. I don't think that who's the princess's promise? And why was Ghost out there? What was Ghost going to do?
they needed
Like-
man.
Right, there's like, look, we ain't got the budget to animate you, Ghost. Like and no one knew the Red Witch was coming. So what were you going to throw the Dothraki out there? At first, I thought they were getting rid of the Dothraki because if they take over the 7 Kingdoms, the Dothraki's going to be a problem. So at first, I thought they should try to get rid of them because that was a dumbass plan to go in.
It's out there for one reason, man. Squad up, everybody gets up.
Yeah,
man.
see, I can't follow you either, D. You gonna get people killed. I liked the episode. It was I held my breath a lot of moments, but when you think about it, a lot of things don't line up with the story that was promised, like the prince or princess that was promised. Well, that doesn't make any sense now. Somebody tried to tell me that prophecies don't always work out, but in this universe, prophecies always have some ring of truth, and I feel like, So that's what I thought.
I am actually strangely excited that they went so far. Because now the books matter again. Before I was like, do I really care about the books? I care about the books again.
Yeah.
But then again, it's kind of funny because prophecy has always been built like that anyway. Prophecy has never been 100% on the note of what happens. It just says, oh, chosen one will get this. Yeah, he will get that, but you don't know the process of it, where to get to. Maybe it gets handed to him. Maybe it comes from fighting for 100 years. Who knows? It will be fulfilled because that's what the prophecy said. It's going to happen some type of a way. It's going to find a way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how usually prophecy works. So, whatever. So whatever.
D, what was your take of the episode? I mean, it seems like everybody's got their own hot take of it, but I mean, unanimously, we all seem like we really did enjoy it. It's just, what does it mean? But what did it mean for you, D?
Very when you do a freaking movie like this,
Yeah.
because that's what it was.
Yeah.
Movie like that, you're going to have to really not even flesh out a lot of storyline. See, the way I saw the Battle of Winterfell was just one part of an arc getting closed up. Like it wasn't the end of a story. There was one of the biggest questions I had going into the whole episode, which I'm pretty sure some people had the same idea, was okay, because a lot of people said it was going to get pushed back. Winterfell was gone. Okay, my question was, what after that? And I'm still saying that after this episode, what after that? Because you do realize we have 4 more episodes. Well, not 4, 5 or 4. How many we got left? And these are not small episodes. These are 80-minute episodes we're going to be having. There's going to be a lot of content stuffed inside it. So, yes, I can understand what Patrick said. I feel unfulfilled when it comes to this. I understand when somebody say they didn't do too much of this, but y'all said it. It made great television, number 1. And number 2, this is not the end of the story.
Yeah.
Just simple and plain. It's not the end of the story. Yeah, you could say wow, that's how he got taken out like that. Other half is like, we got like 5 more episodes. What's going to happen next?
We got 3 episodes. So only
3 episodes. Wait a minute, three?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
3.
Just three.
Yeah, just 3.
Whatever. Just
Yeah. I mean, I think they're gonna be a little bit longer, but yeah, just 3.
getting
Yeah.
movies we're getting movies at this point. So it doesn't
yeah.
even,
Regroup. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go again.
yeah. Like you're gonna get an hour and a half for the rest of it.
yeah. So but the point is, really the point was, I liked that everything was done well. Um, for me, it was really about whose story was complete because me and my wife the whole time was like he's gonna die, that person's gonna die, and because my wife is freaking out like every other black woman. Oh my God, kill anybody else but Arya, kill anybody else but Arya, kill anybody else but Arya. And she was like, wait a minute, what's gonna happen? I'm like, you gotta think fat. Everybody, and that's the main thing. And Chris, I understand how you feel when you got people online, Twitter, whatever, saying, I don't remember this, I don't remember that. You have to think about certain people have plot armor because their arc is not complete yet.
Yeah.
Just because their arc is not complete yet. Now we all thought Brienne was gone. No,
I didn't.
I thought Grey Worm was gone. No,
She's got to beat. No, Brienne has to beat the mountain. She ain't going nowhere till that happens.
But isn't
So
one
I
of the great
say
things
what?
about
I'm
Game of
gonna say
Thrones
what?
that you
But-
can't
but-
rely on plot armor? Like, isn't that what made the first, especially before we got past the books, is that like nobody had plot armor? Like
Preach.
everybody, maybe Jon Snow had plot armor, but you had a sense that
But
I had a
Actually,
sense
no,
before
the
this
Stark
episode
did.
anybody could go down after the last episode because I thought they were kind of resolving some things and saying, okay, from this point on, everybody, and I still think that. But for the big bad, for them to face, the Thanos of the show, and for it to be resolved so cleanly and easily at a low cost,
I'm mad
surprised me.
you just took out I'm just mad you took out all of the gangster of that pretty blonde 100-pound girl sitting in King's Landing
But
as
that's
not being
the,
back
that's
of this
the whole
whole
point,
thing.
actually. So by Cersei becoming the true big bad versus the Night King, it actually, I think it actually subverts what I thought George R. R. Martin was trying to say, which is like, stop the petty politics of the enemy.
Like you can't beat up Thanos, and then next week Mysterio's the big bad villain or the Riddler or some shit like that, right?
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
sorry. That's taking a
I
lot
think
of
you
piss
can kind of make it
I
work
don't
though
know.
because it's 2 different
That
things.
is taking a lot of piss out of Cersei. Cersei, who for all accounts died twice already. Cersei, who lost everything and then gained it back 20-fold. You mean to tell me
Oh, she's
that
awesome.
she is just second hand to
I
the king?
agree.
All Night King did was throw a
Cersei's-
stick at a dragon. That's all
Cersei's
he really
crazy.
did.
But
That's
she
all
is
he
also
really did.
I think you're missing what he's saying, D. Like,
she's also now right.
yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
She's right. She's right. She did the right thing by not joining with the forces. She has done the right thing.
She's still playing the game smarter than anybody.
She
Exactly.
took a huge gamble, but she played it the smartest that she could with her hand. Because I mean, she had
why
everything to
she's still
lose
here.
by going in.
That's why she's
No.
still here because she's so smart.
I
By the way, hey
honestly
guys, how's it
thought-
going?
What's
I
up,
honestly
Dean?
thought I honestly thought the whole army was going to show up at Winterfell, and the dragon with the Night King were going to show up at King's Landing.
Yeah, that's
You know,
what I
I
was
thought
A
the
thinking
lot
too.
of us did.
I
A lot
don't
of us
think-
did.
I think what a lot of people really wanted was this long, more epic look of the Night King doing what he does. Doing what he
Well-
does. All he really did was raise the dead and slow walk.
But
And-
they named the episode The Long Night because there was a time previously in the history that they talk about where basically they lived under like fear of the long night, and it lasted not one night, but like, I don't know, hundreds of years. I can't remember.
All right, I know what it is. Stop reading, CD.
So what he's saying is dumb it down, Patrick. What he's saying is dumb it
Oh
down.
my
Get used to
goodness.
this. Get used to this.
And
This-
I'm not
this-
even
this
saying.
level.
This is not me saying. That is
No,
not on the
I
same.
just I
That's
thought
not
they would
me
have to read a
saying
few
you're
times.
throw
That they
away
would,
on continuity. It's not me saying throw away the continuity. That's not me saying we throw away your theory. It's just that don't read too deep into that.
And
So,
ding,
It's fair.
ding, ding,
It
ding,
is
ding, ding,
weird.
ding. We time
There's
out,
no
time
way to
out, time out,
unbook,
time
you know,
out,
you know.
time out, time out. we're going coming back to this. What's up, Keaton?
What's going on? How's it going?
We're going through a brief summary of what we thought about the episode. D had a lot to talk about when he thought about the
I
episode.
didn't actually. I really
Yeah,
didn't. Y'all don't.
I missed the beginning. I missed the
No,
beginning. So like,
you didn't miss much of it. Oh, you missed the episode?
It was
no, no, no.
basically just us arguing.
Yeah, I missed the argument. So I'm not 100% sure what's been gone over yet and what hasn't.
No, nothing
But
has been gone over yet. All we've just been doing is talking
all right.
about what we
All I
felt about
said
the
is
episode.
I love the episode, but I thought that it wasn't a good resolution to a 7-season conflict. And then D probably just here we are.
That's all I'm saying. The conflict's not over. I guarantee you that conflict, whatever it may be, is not over.
What
So-
is the opening scene of the first episode?
Does
We-
not.
Right.
It ain't, even though that was a completion, that's not it. That can't be it. Because there's way more questions there are answers. And anytime that is, in any type of story, there's some more to it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying that they could have like flown up with dragons, shanked the Night King before they even assembled all these armies, been done with this like a long time ago. Like what was this all about?
I mean, we're gonna go into all this. We're gonna go into all this. Keaton, what was your thoughts of the episode?
I thought it was extremely well done. I didn't think that it would all get resolved the way it did, but I thought the way that it was done was really, really well. Like the genre change in between where it goes from battle to horror to action, like the way it jumped around, like it had a really, really unique feel to it. It was pretty good. I knew going in that we were gonna lose some people, but like everybody that died, like pretty much went out gangster, except for Ed. Ed was busy saving Sam. But like little Leanna, she went out like a gangster. Jorah went out like a gangster. Like Jorah was the Black Knight from Monty Python. Like he was not going down at all. Like Theon. I never thought I would care about Theon again at all. I've been despising Greyjoy ever since. I'm like, get him, Ramsay, like mess him up. But now,
What?
Yeah, oh yeah, I hated Theon for what he did. I despised him, and then
He deserved to charge head first the way he did. FYI, I'm sorry.
yeah, like he did Rob dirty, which Rob was stupid anyway. But that's
Rob was not stupid. He was on.
Rob was stupid. Rob, as soon as Rob knew way better than to try and do Walter Frey dirty. Like you seen the Harry Potter movies, he won't even hit on nothing Harry Potter. He knew he wasn't gonna be hitting on nothing on this show.
Really, Rob wanted that smoke. And what happens when you want smoke? You get the smoke, and the smoke killed him. Like, that's what happened.
Rob was dumb. But like, yeah, I ain't been hating Theon, and then they slowly made you come back around to liking Theon again, and then Bran like stopped watching Endgame long enough to tell Theon like, "Hey, you're a good guy," and then Theon bit it, and it was good, but like, it was sad. Like I didn't think I'd be sad over Theon's death, and
But he did a purpose. He bought enough time for what had. Like Bran knew I needed this much time to have this happen.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I think people missed that because people were talking about online like, oh, well, his death was a waste and they didn't do anything and he died a loser.
I don't
Theon
understand
doesn't-
how people get that.
Right.
Yeah.
All I'm
Like
saying
it is just like in game. It's like there was one path to victory, and Bran was building out that path.
And like, it's like, yo, Bran, you could at least told him, hey, yo, Theon, don't do nothing for like 2.5 seconds. Already gonna show up.
First off, D, that's the Shikamaru method. That's what Bran was doing. It's like, hey, I got the shit under control. All right?
Also, I don't think Theon was in all emotion in that moment.
But like I like the way it was done, but like, and I heard y'all talking about plot armor and stuff like that. Like they literally put a witch in there to provide plot armor for people, and like she admitted it. She's like, yeah, basically like for Beric Dondarrion, for example, she was like, yeah, he's had plot armor just for this purpose.
Well, except for
See you next season. Like, yeah, but like, I think they need that plot armor because otherwise you end up having something like The Walking Dead, where everybody you get invested in gets killed until you don't care about it anymore.
Man, I wish the Dothraki had plot armor. That
I
would
mean,
be
but
nice.
do you know what his purpose was in the books? His purpose in the
episodes
books.
left.
I'm sorry. What did the Dothraki bring to you that said it can't be touched? We have to keep these people in
They
the
got
story.
flaming scimitars. They gave me hope. All right,
Huh,
Jesus.
All right,
huh.
now let me ask this: were the scimitars were they made of Valerian silver dragon glass?
No,
What was their plan
no.
until she lit them on fire?
I
Right.
don't know.
And what was Ghost going to do? You didn't give him like a dragon glass like mouthpiece or something. Like what the hell? Like your plan was stupid.
Like, I feel like the Dothraki had no plan. Like she helped them out by setting their swords on fire, but before that,
They didn't
like,
know
what
she was
was
coming.
Cersei
They didn't know
goes
she was
Jon and
coming.
it's like, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna work with you, John, but here you got to do this battle plan to wipe out all of Daenerys' troops first.
Right.
That's
Because
what
that's
it
the
looked
only
like.
thing that makes sense.
The Daenerys takes all the costs. She has no army left. She has nothing left.
well, I don't think anybody has an army left. Like I don't think there's much of
They
anything
got
left.
2 Dothrakis,
Cersei
2
still got
horses,
an
and
army left.
everybody else.
Oh well,
No,
yes,
I'm saying,
Cersei got to go.
we're talking about Jon and them. Jon and them got three random Dothrakis that managed to escape that fucking bullshit. 2 horses that came out of that whole thing. I don't even know what the hell happened to Ghost. I don't know where he's at.
Talking about last I checked, Ice Dragon elbow dropped the living crap out of Winterfell Castle. So I don't even know who's still alive.
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying. Most of them, like
Max, they got 50 people left. And I'm being nice.
I also don't
yeah,
think
the
the Golden
military,
Company.
yeah,
I also
their
don't think the
armies
Golden
got
Company
dusted.
fights
Like
actually a fight.
Homeboy literally had a blue eyes white dragon. Like they got dusted. Like nobody's
They
left.
got 50 people
That's
plus
true,
2
Anthony.
dragons. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the fight we think it's going to be. I think that the Golden Company thing is
Areas.
it's a trick of the light. I think that there's a twist in there that people aren't going to see coming.
Then he's
Um,
and then offer them more money.
And again, this is why I say that this got a simplified version of the book, like it's dumbed down, because Targaryen's his goal was to resurrect Catelyn Stark. That's what his purpose was. Like so because they didn't do that storyline, they tried to fit him into this other storyline. It's dumbed down for TV. It just really is.
I wouldn't say it's so much dumbed down for TV. It became TV. You don't dumb it down. It's just like
It's why they want
Don't you think one of the reasons people fell in love with Thrones is that it wasn't like that at first?
right. It's like they don't know how to write Tyrion, so they just make him make a bunch of stupid mistakes, right? So they don't know how to write a clever layered character where
So-
something pays off.
So I think I have a theory though when it comes to specifically with Tyrion. Tyrion, they're setting Tyrion up for 2 different things. I think either 1, a betrayal, or 2, something to interweave with what he's gonna do or become. Like him being like kind of seemed like he was kind of like jealous of the whole being pushed away from Dany. Him feeling like he is insignificant. Like I feel like all of this is for a reason. I don't think it's just
There's a chance
all right.
he's
Well, we're
a
gonna
touch-
give him like accidental things that he messes up on. Like no, like there's a specific reason for it. Just like there's a reason why Bran. After this point, like what's the point of Bran at this point? Like now that the Night King is gone, what is the real point outside of him being? Of course, everybody said like he's the source of all information
To
and
be
knowledge
to do his
essence
best
of
Undertaker
humanity.
impersonation.
We still don't know where he warred.
Point
We
of
still
Bran.
don't know
That's a
why
good
he
question.
warred and where he went.
That's
Oh,
what
we
I'm
already-
saying. All I'm saying is that there's so many different things that they just leave there that this cannot be. Like, they wouldn't sit there and leave, in my opinion, personally, the Night King death on the 3rd episode instead of the 2nd to the last episode if there wasn't a specific reason. So I'm feeling like between Cersei, between the Night King, between Bran, and I mean even this. I mean I'll throw this out at you guys before I even ask you the real question I was gonna ask. Like, say they get there to King's Landing and like Jon's like, this is my lineage. What are y'all gonna do? I am right now the rightful heir. I just found this information out. I have 3 people that can confirm this. Are you really gonna go and submit over to what Cersei's saying? And I mean, that could just change the tide of the fight in a second. I'm just saying that there's so many different ways that it can go. Huh?
Yeah, true. But Sam, you do realize that this is the same woman that was told that your son is marrying a girl that loves him a whole lot, and you said, "I got to kill that bitch." What do you think she's going to do?
I mean,
Honestly, he's not going to go up there and say, "Hey, that's my chair." That's not going to happen. That is
no. I
not
mean,
I think
there's
going
no.
to
The problem with the normal side of this is that John is the type of person, like, John doesn't really care. I mean, John doesn't be thinking like, oh, well, I'm gonna strategize this, I'm gonna strategize that. Like, no, like, John just goes and does things. Like, he is the epitome of Ned incarnate. I'm just saying that when the time comes, I don't know that Cersei's gonna be able to do too much if that is what he chooses to do, and everybody's behind him in doing it. But I was gonna ask you guys all a question. Like, what was your favorite epic moment of this episode, and kind of why? That was the main question I wanted to get to. We have spent, gosh darn, 26 minutes. What was your favorite epic moment of this episode?
not our fault. The show was good.
Arya dropping the dagger was great because I thought she was about to take it, and then she dropped the dagger and pulled that move. That was a fantastic moment. I liked Arya. Even I think it's a place where me and Anthony might disagree. I'm all right with Arya doing the kill shot and everything. Like, I thought it was super sweet. Yeah. So that was definitely for me. I thought she was about to bite it. I honestly thought she was about to die right there.
So,
Did you notice that drop
But I
she
also
had
didn't
was
think
like a
they would end
callback?
this all in a single episode, so that's partially why. Sorry, what were you
But
gonna say?
Yeah, Brianna Tarth.
When she fought Brienne of Tarth, she used that drop move when she was sparring with her.
I
Yeah.
remember that now, but at the
Yeah.
time, and also she gets the dagger right there, and she surprises John right there in that spot. So the fact that she, like, it's her castle, she knows how to sneak up on people and surprise them. There's a lot of foreshadowing to that moment, which is great. I'm fine with it.
So I don't dislike that she killed the Night King. My favorite moment, by the way, was her sneaking around the library and that, like, little stealth game mission we went on, and then she did that kill shot, that silent death to one of the White Walkers that would
Yeah, it
turn
was
real
awesome.
quick.
That's how I play Skyrim.
Yeah. So that was that whole, like, Tenchu and all that, those games, those ninja assassin games. My problem is that it just
10
doesn't.
points for saying Tenshu. 10 points for saying Tenshu. Wow. Good for that one.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that game a lot the last week, and then this came up, and I was like, yes, this is what we need. So my issue with Arya is just that I don't think it lines up with what we were set up in the story, right? And someone got on me that the red woman predicted this, and I was like, I don't know if that prediction actually happens, because again, I'm going off that none of the prophecy is true now, right?
The whole God of Light stuff is not. They need to, Lord of Light or whatever, they need to explain more of that. If they don't explain more of that before this is over, I'm going to be left a little confused
But
what's going
to
on.
Dee's
I don't know.
point, the
I feel
prophecy stuff is still out of the books. They never went that it was going to be a light sword and you have to sacrifice what's great to you and all. Like, that's all book prophecy. Show prophecy didn't even get Cersei's prophecy all
They
the way
didn't
right.
talk about that? Why does she kidnap Gendry then? Up to sacrifice, and she kills Shireen for that prophecy as well, right?
I will admit there are some things in that story where it doesn't connect, or it's like, I'm sorry, that's it. I understand that. I'm not totally disagreeing with you on that, Pat. I really ain't.
Because we only have a few. The thing about Game of Thrones is supernatural stuff isn't, like, everywhere, and one of the few places supernatural stuff actually does occur is with the Lord of Light. So I'd like some explanation. You know what I mean?
And the flaming sword and all, like, there's a lot that just threw me out of it. But yeah, the library scene was one of my favorite. That and Lyanna, if she had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet.
My favorite part, my favorite, well, at least epic part, because I actually have a part. My favorite part of the whole thing wasn't an epic part at all. But my favorite epic part had to be probably when John saw the Night King, was like, I'm about to get this dude, and he slowly started putting up his hands, and John was like, no, I know this move. It's just the fact that John tried try to run just a little bit more, but it was actually kind of a good way of framing of what was going on. Victory's in sight. No, it's not. All you see is a freaking host of zombies coming at John at that point.
It really showed the scale of what they were facing.
You know, if
awesome.
the Night King didn't Michael Myers everything, he'd have won.
Exactly. And that's and I will say, I know there's a lot of people going on John about him not being this and not being. Number one, he's not a strategist. Number two, the motherfucker don't want to be your king, but obviously you keep passing me the crown, so I'm your king. You can't complain about us getting killed at one thing. I ain't a strategist. All I wanted to do was go to the wall and just live out there for the rest of my life. No. I gotta be the one to bring everything together. But the one part I did like was, despite everything going to hell, despite everything just not going your way, John did the most gangster thing in the world. I'm gonna fight a dragon. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. And when the dragon got up and started roaring at him and he was yelling back, I felt that. Like, yeah, come on. If you're gonna kill me, let's go. I've been waiting to die for the last 4 seasons. I've been waiting to die. Come on. Give it to me. And everything stopped right there. I love that. I did love
and that's a good point. People that complain that Arya took the kill shot, it wasn't just Arya. Like, there were so many people that led up to that moment. It's like saying that the guy that gets the touchdown won the game all by himself. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works. Like, you had the dragon fight. You had the waves of people who died just to get the Night King in the right position. You had Theon, who, you know, even though he had that look of failure on his face when he died, like, if he didn't do his part, Bran would have just been killed before Arya could get in position.
Don't forget, you have 4 principal characters up against the castle wall, still fighting. Like 8 armies of zombies coming at them. They have nothing left. They have 0 left. There is so much going on at one point. I love that.
There's a guy on our campus that used to be called Death, and so when we were doing like sword fight stuff, if you're fighting 4 people, Death sneaks around you and stabs people in the back. Like, he can't do his job if you don't do your job, right?
I like that.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
CJ, what was your favorite moment?
Well,
I wouldn't say it's a favorite moment so much of being a surprise. I was happy to see Grey Worm make it out of that whole thing, because I was really like, oh, he did, but he survived. Come hell or high water.
Did he survive?
Yeah, he survived. And also, seeing the shock on everybody's face when the Night King had all the White Walkers literally put their bodies on the flame wall to get across, I was like, well, never mind. I guess this isn't going to be over.
The only thing I'm going to say about it is this. Everybody in the council like, oh my God, here's me. None of you saw that coming. None of you saw that coming.
Why? What are the archers doing while they're just standing there too? They're like, oh look, there's people just standing there. I'm not going to use my bow and arrow though.
Right?
Get it? And I get it. John couldn't spam the fire dragon because every blew it, they get blown right out. I understand that, but come on.
So here's my big thing. Here's my big concern. The last time they fought this exact same force, all they could do was contain it by building a huge, gigantic wall. They had like way more dragons, bigger dragons, and like they couldn't defeat the Night King. And then like they defeat the Night King in one battle in a poorly defended castle. I just thought, it's like if we had beat the Nazis in World War II in the first battle and been like, that's it, it's done. Like,
greatest war ever.
Yeah, I expected it to be a more drawn out
wildfire underneath King's Landing.
Not a single battle, but a war. Like I expected a war basically, and so that's I think why I was disappointed. But this episode was one of the best medieval war episodes, even with bad tactics. Like, it had lots of different pacing, the directing was perfect, the camera angles was perfect. Some people are complaining about shaky camera. I thought they did the right mix of, like, being in the battle and being able to see what was going on in the battle. Even, like, we know they don't have a lot of budget for, like, all those dragon fight effects, but the dragons were, like, biting each other's necks and stuff like that. Like, the episode was amazing. It was fantastic. And I loved Arya's kill shot. I loved everything. It's just like in the grand narrative of last time we fought these things, all we could do is build a. How long do you think it took them to build that wall? A long freaking time. And that's how bad of an army this was. They were like, we can't fight them. We're just going to spend generations building a freaking wall to contain them. And then instead they could have like just fought them with like 2 of their smallest dragons? And taken them out. Like, anyways,
I thought that's why they came up with Wildfire. I thought Wildfire was created because of this.
It was!
and like, I don't know.
Nah, no, you're right. Imagine you made some rockets that were specifically made to take down this certain helicopter, and then you find out, oh man, just get a handgun. You can shoot it and blow it up. That's really what it. It's like, yo, come on.
That's an Airwolf reference if you didn't know it, but it is an Airwolf reference.
I hate you for mentioning
Yo, Three Fellow Hawk, what's up?
Right.
Airwolf!
God,
Like
I hate
off
you for
Red
mentioning
Knight
that.
Rider.
I cannot. Keaton, what was your favorite moment?
Nobody like helicopters. Put it in there. Put it on TV.
I'm not gonna lie. Like one of my favorite parts. I mean, Arya's kill shot was cool, but there are a couple moments that I really loved. But my favorite one probably is at the beginning, because at the beginning everybody has like their war face on. It's like it's about to go down. Here comes the battle, and then the Dothraki are on deck. They're like, "Yo, we about to get it started." All their blades light up. They rush it out, and then all of a sudden, all the flames go out, and then it cuts to like the rest of the cast, and they all have this look like, "Oh wow, we gonna die! Like we're about to get dusted. Like this is about to be bad." Like because
the best part about that though to me was the silence.
Yeah,
it was the silence of it all.
Like honestly, like it was like when because the Dothraki was supposed to be like the best fighters, the Dothraki screamers. It was like when the Monstars balled up Jordan and dumped him in the Looney Tunes gym. It was like, oh wow, we're about to lose. Like this is bad. This is bad. Like and that's I loved that scene because it was like, oh man, nobody beats the Dothraki, and they got dusted so quick. Quick. It was faster than a Bill Goldberg match in the 90s. Like, dusted, like quick. They all had this look on their face like, oh wow, this.
I mean, I still maintain it was. I still maintain it was definitely.
I'm in danger.
I ain't gonna lie, man. After that happened, it definitely felt like it was on some Operation Get Behind the Darkies and shit a little bit. Oh man,
that's exactly what it was.
I was like,
you saw.
I thought about that, and I have a reason for it.
Marching up. That's exactly what's the plan.
Well, to be fair though. So the reason Unsullied got so popular is because the Dothraki were running through this one country, and until they got Unsullied and the Dothraki broke against their shields and turned them back, like that's what their whole job. Their job was not to be police people, not to fight in corridors. They are supposed to be a shield wall. They are supposed to protect, everybody retreat and everything like that. Like, I don't know. That was their use. I get the optics.
On top of that, I thought it was like a political move because really, it's like, okay, Dany shows up saying she's the queen, and she shows up in the north. Like, I don't know if Sansa would have been cool with her putting her army in the back behind everybody else. Right? Like, if you really the queen, if you really got all this power, then show us, handle it. Like, I don't know.
It could be the other way around, too. If they win, then Dany looks like the hero for bringing her troops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think the North will back her now that she helped them win, because she was like, if they're like, oh, you're not my queen, she'll be like, how many dragons did you bring to this fight? How many? What? Oh, you didn't? Oh, well, I guess you should be quiet. Oh, what were you doing, Sansa? I I was riding dragons out there. I was out there fighting. Look, my homie there.
I
He
ain't gonna
said, "What
lie,
were you
man.
doing,
Which
Sam?"
of the 50 people left is she arguing with about this?
I ain't gonna lie though. Arya after Arya killed the Night King, she should be the one that's gonna really be rolling up in there. Like, so here, check it. I just killed the Night King. Who's gonna?
I wonder if
who's gonna top
that's
down?
going to be like, I wonder if one of the things I was thinking about, there's no witnesses of that other than Bran, and Bran ain't going to say nothing. So I wonder if anybody will ever even know that Arya did that.
Oh, somebody will know.
They'll know. They'll know.
They'll know.
Also, when did they find out the Night King had a dragon?
Bran told him.
Because they acted
Bran
like they
told
already knew. Oh, Bran told
him
him.
in the
I
second
missed that.
episode.
Okay, I missed that. I was like, I thought that they didn't know.
Yeah. I think that Bran said something along the lines of like, "We don't have time for this. That your child is being resurrected by the Night King right now, and he's coming." So yeah, I think he said that like the first or the second episode. But yeah, let's switch gears for a second. I guess talk about like some negatives. But before we go there, I just want to say I thought the episode was great. I really did enjoy it. I didn't really have any issues when it came to like the darkness of it because it felt more real. It felt more like realistic. Like on a battlefield, like there's not gonna be any situation where you're gonna be able to see everything. Like when the winter came and the Night King used his element, like elemental magic, against them while they were in the air, so they couldn't do anything. I thought that was amazing. I just thought everything about it was pretty epic, and there was like this feeling that anybody could go at any time. Some definitely perfect send-offs for pretty much everybody. I do think about the fact of like when it comes to Jon has always been at the epicenter as being the hero. This is the first time that he's been able to bring everybody together, and the first time he's had to depend on everybody to survive. Like, it's not like, all right, I'm going to put my life on the line for you guys to survive. Like, no, everybody is doing that. And I think that one of the motivating things that I love that everybody seemed like they had a problem with was that when he was trying to attack the Night King, and the Night King kind of came at him and looked back and was like, oh, and then like he couldn't stop it. Everybody around him were Dothraki soldiers. So the toughest fighters just got resurrected. He had to fight his way all the way back to Winterfell, and he was gung ho on like, no matter what happens, I have to get to the Night King or this won't stop because
Even love Sam.
Gonna die. Everybody,
Even love
like,
Sam.
He legit looked at Sam. He was like, and then just kept it moving, and I was like, yo, this is insane. And I at that point I was like, man, if Sam died, like, Sam would understand. Sam was like, look, you need to go kill this man. And at the point, like you said, D, to your credit, like, he was willing to try to kill this undead dragon to get to the Night King. It wasn't that, like, he was, like, doing this so the side quest. He was trying to get to the Night King. It just happened to be that Arya is the OG of this whole entire thing. And it's going to be interesting to see if she's the person that kills Cersei. But I was just curious, what did you guys find any negatives about this episode? I know some of you guys didn't like it from a continuity standpoint when it comes to the books. I don't have any book understanding or any book knowledge, so I didn't have any real problems with anything that was happening because progressively the story is just happening for me.
Sam, that's interesting you say that because, like, I don't know that, like, I have read the books, but even from a TV show standpoint, it has been 7 seasons of building up that army. Do you really think it's just because people read the books that they think that the Night King was... I mean, that's just interesting to me because it's hard for me to separate the two.
So for me personally, I think that...
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that this whole entire show, from episode 1, gave this feeling of impending dread about this army of the dead. But the thing about it, the Night King didn't have as big an army as he had the episode last night. He has gained that over time. Like, it is just progressively gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, all the wildlings, all the other people that were before in the other battles, like, he's just brought them in progressively. The difference is that there's such great storytelling and great back and forth from the politics side that we've been focusing on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always been there around the cut. And so it's like, yeah, this episode 3, he did officially die, but it's like, John has been striving for this the entire time, like since season 3. So it's not been like, okay, this got resolved in one episode for me. It was like John's been working towards this. Like, if they didn't win this battle, they would have all died, and King's Landing would have been the one to try to figure out how to kill the Night King. Because at the end of the episode, I never thought if they didn't kill him or try to subdue him, that they would have survived. Because after somebody died, somebody would just keep on getting resurrected over and over and over again. So, it's a two-hand fold for me, Patrick. I don't really have a problem because I felt like the whole entire series, it's been pushing along. It's that either we're all gonna die, or I mean, they could have easily continued it, but I do think that there's something more to it that we don't know. And I think it all ties the brand.
You're right, but here's the funny thing but you're right. There's a lot we don't know. We have 3 more episodes, and there's a lot we don't know. I will go on. I will actually agree with you, Patrick. I don't. The only thing I don't like about that the whole army just fell off, just died, just right then and there. They had a 3-1 lead. They blew it. Cool, but that can't be it. That just doesn't sit. That doesn't sit well at all. There's no resolution to the story. So that being no resolution to the story, well, we're not finished with it. Now we get to the last episode and credits start rolling, and I'm sitting there. So that was all of the Night King's army. If I say that at the last episode, then I have a problem. That's the only way I have a problem. But that is like the only problem I had with the whole episode. The one thing but just real quick, and then not to hop back onto the previous subject, but the one thing I didn't bring up with all of this is that I thought the acting in this whole episode was excellent. My favorite part of the whole thing, my favorite part of the whole episode was when Tyrion and Sansa were together in the crypt, and you just hear people, just women, children, everybody screaming. There's chaos going on, and they're right beside each other. And I always said the best acting comes with no words at all. You read both of their faces. You knew how they felt. I like all of that was just so heartfelt, and it was like you can say to yourself, it's like y'all should have been with each other from the beginning, or yo, you realize this is where you're gonna die at, or whatever. There's a million things you can bring up on that scene right there, and I just thought it was so excellent. But anyway, I just wanted to go back to that and just mention that. That's all.
Nah, you good. I actually was worried that they were gonna actually commit suicide. Cause I was like, are they gonna rather die, together than to let themselves get maimed, or are they gonna go out fighting? I was really curious about that scene. That was really
Night King don't care. You become a zombie either way.
The only thing
True.
Was
no, he stabbed himself with.
When Tyrion got up,
dragon glass.
When Tyrion got ran off, and you just saw Sansa sitting there, like, yeah, Sansa, you ain't about to do shit. You about to drop and die. Just stay down, baby girl. Still got plot on. So.
Yeah, but anybody else have any negatives?
The way they shot Sam's survival, I don't really see how he lived. Right? You can make the argument that the other experienced fighters against the wall, with their backs against the wall, can hold out. There was one point, and I have to rewatch the episode. There was one point where it looked like Sam was on his back, just swinging around knives or whatever, and I didn't really get how that made it look like he was going to live or whatever. But besides that, what I talked about with how it didn't flow very well for me, because, and I think Patrick said this better than I could, but the whole purpose was that our petty human squabbles over who has a title doesn't really matter, right? You have this. It's kind of almost like when we go to the global warming thing. What do you mean it's going to affect this your economy? Doesn't matter if the Earth can't support our life, right? And when you take that away from this, and and now it's just okay. Who's going to have the throne? I think there's going to be more politics involved. I think the Iron Bank has a trick up their sleeve, and I think that when you know the history of how the Golden Company got started, I don't think it's going to be as clean cut as we think. But again, I'm kind of. This makes me question.
George R. R. Martin.
Are we going to get a?
He's really down on easy solutions. George R. R. Martin, like in every interview, he's always like down on easy, quick solutions.
Right.
And maybe that's what was my issue here. It felt like it'd be like, oh, we don't need to worry about global warming because in 50 years we'll figure out a solution to it. Well, maybe we won't.
And that's what I was going to say. Is that I don't want stereotypical TV bow ending, and this episode has me dreading the ending of this. Like Jon didn't need to be the one to kill the Night King. That's not my big thing because I said it's everybody does their part. You know, Jon's the guy that people got them all together. I don't know, but I still enjoyed it. When that one Night of the Vale ran, and you saw that there wasn't just a line of zombies coming at you. There was like waves where they're rolling over each other on top of you.
It was fantastic.
Like, right. I don't see how the principal characters got away from that because your sword skills don't mean shit in that when
not at all. Not at all.
Right.
You ain't gonna swing your sword.
Right. I talked about before how I don't think their tactics made any logical sense whatsoever. I mean, even if Jon isn't a tactician,
Man,
he had experienced warriors there that knew how a battle should.
Look, Anthony, I get it. I get that, Anthony. I get it. You played Command and Conquer. You was the shit at it. I understand it. But come on, man. Do you really think Jon is a Star? Oh, even better, StarCraft. Even better, StarCraft.
Right.
Good for you. Good for you. Look, Anthony. Just went up 2 points in my book. So this man know what he's talking about.
I think there are ways to add nods to strategy. Like, the argument is they didn't do strategy because they wanted to film really cool scenes, like a bunch of fires, like riding on horses across the battlefield. But I think there's ways to still have really cool scenes and also give nods. It doesn't have to be like, 5-star general like strategy, but some basics would have been nice to be like, okay, here's the battle plan, and other than like.
Because you still want to make interesting TV, and if you took a Roman army or a Spartan army with dragon glass, Valerian steel, they'd have wiped the floor with this place.
And it would have been exciting to see that play out, like Home Alone. They should have made it like Home Alone, but with armies. They had a plan. Macaulay Culkin had a bigger plan than Jon Snow. I'm calling it now.
Historical fact.
I disagree. I disagree. I feel like we're so used to these like Ocean's 11 level strategies and plots that we're kind of overlooking the fact that they did have a plan. It just the Night King just had. Let me finish. The Night King just had way more people, and then also like all along, the Night King's been like this thing that people worried about. But at the same time, all along, they've been trying to figure out, like, okay, first, all right, Sam just made a mistake and killed one. How did he do that? Oh, with Dragonglass. Okay, well, let's look that up. And then, now we have Dragonglass. So that's one step. Like, that's part of the strategy. So we have a Dragonglass. On top of that, they had a really, really huge army. Like, it was a lot of people out there.
Absolutely.
They just had not prepared for over 100,000 zombies. Like, that's the thing. It's kind of like it's like
that's my own thing. That's my own thing. How do you plan that? How do you plan the life of right?
Like you can't plan for it. The best
I can't hear y'all.
Yeah, you can't plan for it. The best you can do is Bran says, "Hey, he's coming for me," and they're like, "Okay,
all right.
I guess that's our plan." Before we were just gonna fight to the finish, but now we have a little bit of a plan. Now, how Arya snuck up on them, that doesn't make sense. It was cool, but it doesn't make sense like how she pulled like the Metal Gear Solid, I'm under a box so you can't see me. Like how she snuck up on them doesn't make sense. But I wouldn't go as far to say as there
I think that
wasn't a strategy. Like they were on their dragons. They were going to try and do their thing and watch out for the White Walkers in the back with the spears. But then on top of that, they were like, "Oh wow, the Night King can make blizzards. We didn't know that. Like that's an unknown. We weren't prepared."
No, we did know that. They did know that.
Donald Rump
do
said
that.
They didn't know that was coming though. Like that's the thing, and they didn't realize the Dothraki were going to get dusted like that. So I think the whole point of the episode was they did have a strategy. It just
was bad.
It was a bad strategy.
It's hard to have a strategy against a zombie army of 100,000.
So this is what I'm saying. I'm not pulling this from history. I'm not pulling this out my butt. There's historical examples of taking on enemies larger than you. You read the life of look at Caesar's invasion of Gaul, where he was sieging one place and he knew there was a larger army, 3 times the army coming in at another place. Instead of retreating, he built another wall. He built a wall around another encampment of a wall.
John Snow didn't read Caesar. This is a whole different universe. What are you talking about?
I'm saying
glasses for you.
No, I got a better question. No, Anthony, answer this question. It's the only question that I have. How do you plan for somebody to literally do what somebody does to you in checkers, where they revive their old players, and not even their old players, but your old players? How do you account for that?
So
how
are you saying they just give up? You're like, we can't defeat these guys,
So they had the intel. They knew we could do that. What I'm saying is, based on the information they had, they made very poor decisions, and they didn't use
very poor decisions.
But Dragonfire or whatever that stuff is, all over the field of battle, lit on fire. That's like Braveheart basic stuff right there.
Right.
It really is.
I got a question.
Yes, it were for execution, but that happens in war, though, man. You have a plan. It's just that it don't work.
But we're saying there's no way that plan would work.
I mean, my question to you guys is this. In the beginning, you guys like kind of knocked on the Dothraki because Melisandre like lit up their weapons. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty messed up. Like it did 2 different things. It was funny and it set the tone for how messed up this is gonna be. But
I was descending off rock. I'd be very angry right now.
But I'm saying that Beric, to be fair, he doesn't have like a sword like Jon has. Like he's got a sword that lights on fire and he used it to burn walkers. And they had Dany had a whole army. And this goes back to even what D and Anthony said, that people gonna look at that like, yo, she lost a whole army of people for us. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they went in with swords and whatever on fire, and they all got completely wiped. What I'm saying is this: at the end of the day, they can only prepare, but for so much. And now, I'm not refuting that they could have changed and switched the plan. But I'm saying is that I would question you guys to how do you really plan for something like this? You don't even know what direction all the enemies are going to be coming from. You don't know if they're going to be coming from underground. You don't know if they're...
They came in one direction.
But the thing of it is, but let's
from one direction.
but let's be real about this too. It's the Night King, and you factor in the fact that he's been gathering forces and killing people and resurrecting them and stuff. There's no way you can prepare for that. Like, it's not like 300 where it's like, hey, we got plot armor, we can make this grandstand against all this. Like, there's no way
any of that. I'm just saying you can prepare better. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying you can prepare
but I think our point's being lost. My other gripe would be that the generals didn't get used. They built up the generals of the Night King a lot, and they didn't get used at all. So I'm going to go back to story plot because you guys aren't going to... we going to get stuck in this whole strategy thing.
Here's the thing. Anthony, you brought up real battle. How many times in war perfectly planned, everything
I can't hear you,
laid
Dave.
out? It's like how many times have we had a army who had a real plan set up, had numbers, everything, and they get rolled. That's not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing. And I think it's like everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face, as the saying goes, right? I'm not arguing that. What I am saying is
that you had a cavalry, right? You pretty much had a cavalry, right? You had Mongols on horseback, and you didn't use them the way your troops on horseback would be used. It was just a foolish, and it didn't make any sense versus a living army, let alone a dead army, to use them that way. And they're
Okay,
supposed to
okay, look,
be.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, you didn't use all your weapons to their full potential. I will totally agree with you. They didn't. And that's the only real complaint I have. Because like I said, despite the wind blowing out the fire every time the dragon blew it out, I still would have been spamming it. Still would have been spamming it
Oh yeah,
the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Despite it getting blown out, I would have kept on blowing the fire.
Yep. Anyways,
I'm just
it's
saying.
not that big of a deal. It's just, I don't know. I would
Really
have
ain't.
appreciated it if they had a little bit more tactics. It would have been cool. But
Yeah.
it's fine. I
One
liked
of
how it
us-
ended,
But
and maybe it's like the
can't go
whole, I don't know, endgame thing. Maybe they had to have bad tactics to make the Night King act the way he did so that Arya could have her moment. I don't know.
because now it seems like that was the plan. Oh, you got to die so we get him in this one place. Good luck.
Yeah, that's what it
But
did.
the thing we're all forgetting is this: what makes a better story? The losers coming back to win. That makes a better story.
I
So of
mean,
course
They
you're
still
gonna go
could
with
get
that storyline.
overrun. I'm not saying they wouldn't get overrun.
Right.
I mean, at the end
Yeah,
of
I
the day,
understand.
though,
I don't understand
I
that.
honestly
You don't want
thought that after the Dothraki died, we'd have a bunch of zombie Dothraki horses running right back at him.
True.
I mean, at the end of the
I'm
day, though,
actually shocked
the
they didn't have.
reality is that the Night King had a weakness. His weakness was Bran. Like, he didn't have to sit there and go to Bran himself. He could have just sent anybody to go attack Bran.
And
He
arrogance.
could have got his whole legion of, like, generals to go get Bran, but that
So
wasn't
do
what
we
he did.
know? Do we know the
So-
Night King is now Targaryen because he got burned by the fire and he was fine?
I mean, we can't confirm or deny that. Just like we can't confirm if John would have gotten burned,
But
what he would have
Doesn't
survived.
Doesn't it seem
He
like
was
that's what
one
they
of
were
the
saying?
first men. The first men were Valerian.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't even
If
think
all
about
the
that,
Night
Keith.
King,
Oh, Keith is about to leave you guys. What's your closing thoughts on the episode, bro?
Honestly, I as far as this episode goes and where they're heading, I honestly have this feeling that the thing with the Night King might actually be done. And the only reason I say that is because this show has always had this running theme of if you do the right thing, it'll end up getting you killed. Ned Stark tried to do the right thing, it got him killed. Jon Snow tried to do the right thing, it got him killed. And even with this situation, they did the right thing by going out and taking out the Night King. But now that the armies are weakened, they got to try and deal with Cersei and the Gold Company. So I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like doing the right thing might end up getting you killed. That's what they've been going with the whole time. I am surprised it got kind of resolved quickly, but I do think that they might allude to maybe something later with the Night King that's not going to be in the episode, almost like a last minute thing, like, oh snap, that ice just moved by itself. What could that mean? But I think that it might actually be done. It did seem like it was simple, but at the same time, the Night King was pretty cocky. He was kind of cocky about it, the way he was doing everything and the moves that he was making. And he just got caught off guard, and it was a really cool sequence. I'm really interested to see where they go. Y'all had some good ideas about it not being completely over. So now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe it couldn't be, but the way they wrapped it, it seemed like it was. But because now, like y'all said, they got like 50 people left, and they got to go try and take King's Landing. And Qyburn's got those giant arrows to shoot at the dragons. So I don't think it's going to be as simple as they think it's going to be to take King's Landing.
Yeah.
But
I appreciate you, Kaden, man.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't stay longer. I got work I still got to do. But you guys have a good night. Take it easy. It's been real.
Thanks, man.
You guys had brought up something really interesting. You said that y'all were talking about the whole point about politics versus like self-preservation of life. And I did want to touch on that. Just in a question form though, because for the whole entire time, I kind of felt the same exact way. I was like, all this politics, everybody that want a throne, there's not going to be a throne because everybody's going to die. So it's not even really going to matter. And Jon has been the person that's been like, look, we got to protect the realm. We got to protect the Seven Kingdoms because everybody's going to die if we don't work together right now. That was the reason why they went to Cersei to start with. They try to find some semblance of peace so they could stop this. And it's like, the most interesting thing about this for me was that all the way up until this point, it's all been about self-preservation of life, just protecting everybody. And now that that's not a situation, how do we move forward with an actual life? How do we develop a hierarchy system? Is the system already been broken? Does the will need to be changed or completely broken off? So I would question, like, if it has always been about preservation of life, once that is done and everybody is okay and protected, what did you guys think was going to happen as far as the kingdoms? Like, where did you think everything was going to go? Did you guys think for a long period of time that everybody was going to die, that, you know, at the end of the day, like, it was this, and then they were going to come out with some kind of, like, politics of who leads what? Or did you guys, you know, think that they would kind of do it the way they did it in this third episode, and now it's like, okay, not everybody's protected, who is going to lead us? Like, who is going to protect everybody? What is the right way of going? Because I think now, for the first time ever, Jon has to assess, like, okay, yeah, I've been trying to protect everybody. Now, is protecting everybody mean I have to lead everybody? Because now he has to ask that question himself. Because there is no, like, buffer. Like, okay, it's been protect the wall, protect, you know, the wildlings, protect the Seven Kingdoms. Now, everybody's protected. Now what do we do? What am I supposed to do? So I was curious as your guys' perspective on that. Because now everybody is protected, what do we do?
I think part of the issue is just how compressed the seasons are now, that they got to get so much over. And I assume that's why all of this gets finished in like a single battle. And so I think they will have to deal with the politics. The big thing that George R. R. Martin always talks about is that he doesn't like how Lord of the Rings ends, with Aragorn reigning peacefully for hundreds of years. Like, George R. R. Martin's always like, well, what was Aragorn's, like, tax policy? How did Aragorn deal with, like, all the people from Mordor afterwards? Did he, like, wipe out? Did he have genocide against the orcs? Like, what? Like, that's what George R. R. Martin always talks about, is what he doesn't like about the ending of Lord of the Rings. And so, no matter who leads and how we get to that place, I don't think that we're going to have like this nice, happy, holistic Seven Kingdoms with one king or queen and everybody lives happily ever after, because since the beginning of time, that's the thing that George R. R. Martin has said he hates about Lord of the Rings. So I just don't know what that looks like. And I think that's why I was just disappointed, is what I realized watching this episode is that they basically had to resolve what was set up to be a big war in a single battle. And so I think that's all that I'm disappointed about. I wanted to see the war, not a battle, you know what I mean? So
If you call something
I
the
wanted
Age
to
of
see the
Apocalypse.
7-game series, not a single game.
It's actually, you know what, is actually, it reminds me of The Flash. The Flash first season was actually supposed to be a movie. But what had happened was they made it into a season and they got to show it, you know, actually tell a whole story. You know what I mean? And yeah, I agree with you. It feels more like that was just a battle. It should have been a war. It should have went on for a couple days. It should have went on in different places and all the rest of that. It should have been a great war instead of just one battle and boom, Night King's dead. I understand what you mean by that. I agree.
Well, to me at least, and this is just what I'm seeing of people's expectations and stuff, and it's kind of like the episode as a whole. I saw a lot of people, and I understood at least on a basic level, they felt that the whole thing was very anticlimactic, but like, especially because once you saw, you know, Danny out there sword fighting and stuff, I already kind of picked up on, oh, they're going to end this. Because usually once you have a character that isn't known traditionally to do a lot of sword fighting, once they join into the fray doing that, oh, well, typically the battle's pretty much coming to a close. So I can understand people feeling as though it was very anticlimactic. But at the same time, it's like, well, they had to get it over with at some point. So, you know, it is what it is. But it also leaves it open to Cersei and getting that whole thing done and over with, because you know that's going to be probably long and drawn out, possibly. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it though? Like maybe that's done next episode, or maybe there's some build up.
Well, she has to get the news
after
first.
That, it's done.
She has to get the news first that the Night King is down before she can make her move. You know? So.
I mean, it's gonna be over real fast now.
I mean, I think that typically we get that one big battle in the season, and then like the other one is like kind of clean up and to wrap up, and this is where we're at, right? I think we're gonna get some kind of this is the trajectory the kingdoms are going. I don't know whether that's gonna be that each of the 7 kingdoms is gonna be independent after this, or what it looks like. I've been thinking about that a lot, Sam. That what is Jon's purpose now? Even to Jon, right? So this has been his whole thing. The only reason he's rationalized him coming back from the dead and all that is because he had to kill the Night King, right? Or get everybody together so they live. So Jon's purpose in his mind might be done, right? He doesn't really care about Cersei or any of the other stuff behind that he promised to fight.
Well, I know that Beric was raised back from the dead to get Arya to her point. So the question is, if the Lord of Light is keeping Jon alive, why, right?
Right. But again, it could just be many pieces of a puzzle. I always thought that Arya was going to end up killing Cersei or Daenerys, or after the Mountain beats up the Hound or whatever, that she kills the Hound, not the Hound, the Mountain. But I don't want her to do that now because she got the kill strike on the Night King, and it's not the Arya show. It's it's everybody's show. I'm really interested to see the political landscape after this, the culture one. Like if the Lord of Light takes the place of the Light of the Seven, whether what I would do is I would institute part of the religion is we burn all our dead. Like no more live burials. Everybody that dies, you burn, and it's part of that religion because we're not dealing with this.
No, King, I beg you, don't burn the body. Nah, nope. Motherfucker, we ain't doing this shit.
Either you burn that body or I burn you. We don't have no everybody in the urn. Everybody in the urn. I've been saying for a while that if
you got the kings for rolling.
I think that if I'm saying for a while that if Jaime lives, I think at least in the first season they foreshadowed him being on the wall because Jaime's wanted to serve and he's making fun of Jon Snow being on the wall.
What's the purpose of the wall?
At this point,
well,
there's
we know
no reason to have a wall.
Well, so that's the difference between the show and the show and the books are different, right? It's not, and the books they kind of hint that it's not always the same. They never use Night King as a term, but the same Night King. It's just the army of the dead comes back because there's multiple times of different people leading that army. So the wall, this is like a season.
Wait,
yeah.
What?
So in the books they don't use the term Night King. The Night King was a Pacific person. There was a Stark that was leading. That was the Lord Commander on the wall. He found a white woman in ice with blue eyes. He brought her back to the castle. He said, "I'm the king now of the North, of Beyond the Wall." And she had an army of dead and everything. The Wildlings and the Starks had to join forces to beat them back, and that was the Night King. But there was a guy before that what we know as the Night King was also there. So this isn't a one character thing in the books. This is like a reoccurring thing that happens, like every millennium or whatever.
General? Well, it's like it's always a new general or something like that.
Right, and I'm also wondering if the baby we saw get created, the last Craster's baby got created. I wonder if that baby's still out there because they never explained that scene. Because that scene's not in the books either.
They've never explained it. They've never explained like what was he doing with that baby. Because I assumed that's how he created his generals. But
right.
They never really.
It is. I mean, in the books, it is how he creates his generals.
I thought that that happen? Now, when did that? No, wait a minute. What season did that happen?
Season 2
or something. But
2 or 3.
Wow, man.
My understanding is this Night King is the same Night King created by the children or whatever.
So in the show,
I thought that was the same thing in the books too. Is that the
So look up Night King, like Wikipedia Night King, and you'll see that they don't actually use the term Night King for this thing that's coming in the books.
Sure. But I thought the White Walkers were all created by those children or whatever. Anyways, sorry.
They could have been. I'm just saying that's not just like there was no.
But they're all dead. If they all blew up. At least in the show, because we're talking about the show, there's no reason to have the wall. The wall is just
or maybe that baby
it's a tourist attraction now. People go up there to check it out, take pictures on it, talk about,
Or maybe
Couple
that
hundred years
baby
ago.
at that altar is the new Night King,
Yeah, like
and in
this.
1,000 years you got to do this again. You know what I mean? I think there's some. I'm very interested to see how the landscape goes. I hope they give us a little hint about how every character goes. I don't think if you thought your favorite character was safe because they made it through this, I don't think that's the case. But because I think there's still things to.
Here's what I will say: if any characters died dumbly in the next 3 episodes when they could have died epically in this episode, I'll be disappointed.
Right. And then we also look at all the great houses that have been destroyed. So I don't think the political landscape is going to be the same. I don't think we're going to get a nice bow of, oh, this is your new king and queen, Jon Snow and Daenerys Stormborn and Jon Snow.
Oh, that's not happening.
Right, it's not. I don't see them living through. I don't, especially not both of them. And I don't think that Daenerys. I think that Cersei is still a minor player. I think that everybody's egos, from Daenerys, Sansa, I think all that's going to be a big player. Because remember, even in the crypts, Sansa was like, oh, we couldn't work out because of your dual allegiances. And Missandei's like, oh yes, the Dragon Queen, because we'd all be dead. They're still fighting about stuff as an army of dead. That's how stupid humans are. And I love that point, like, because that's something we would really do.
Absolutely.
There's an army of dead people and dragons flying around, and you're still arguing about who has whatever title. And I think that was the major thing about the Song of Ice and Fire, is that we're worried about who calls who lord, who owns what piece of land, who has what this, when life matters. And just to get bogged down back into who sits on the Iron Throne, if it's that simple ending, I'm going to be disappointed.
Wow.
I don't think it'll be that. I hope not.
So what if this would be stupid, but what if there's like a time jump?
A time jump?
Yeah.
Sam,
Don't get me
I gotta
started on time jumping.
Oh, what you say, D?
Or do you mean like fast forward?
Oh, I didn't hear what you say, D?
Say I gotta bounce, bro.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Cool. Did anybody watch Babylon 5? Did anybody watch Babylon 5?
I used to.
No.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
All right, so at the end of season, I think
Yeah, I watched
4,
it.
when they thought that was going to be their last season, they jumped forward like 10,000 years or whatever, right? And in the book that was written, they were talking about the... Huh?
Nothing.
But like everything they did was like legend, and they kind of like they had pictures of some of the characters, and they were like, oh, but they had the wrong names, or they didn't believe it. At one point, they also went 100 years in the future, and they were like, the people in that generation was like, well, that was all hyper propaganda. No one could really do all that and bring all these different people together. Like, I always thought that was a great thing to do in a story, because again, if you fast forward another 100 years, Arya, the girl with no name, or whatever, the Stark with no name, that was no one, killed that story. We don't believe in that stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if this all repeats again in another 1,000 years.
You know one way to make that battle better? They should have time jumped. You know when the zombies are standing in front of the fire? They should have just stood there for like a week.
Oh yeah, actually, that
Like a week. Just standing there. And then one goes, and then another one.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well, let's wrap things up, you guys. D, are you already gone? Yeah, I think he's gone.
And this is last 3 on the wall.
So, closing thoughts on the episode. Who do you think? Who's your top 2? Do you think gonna absolutely die before the end of the season? And then, what would you rate this episode?
I guess for me, I guess out of 5, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It was pretty solid episode. You can nitpick it to death, whether it's how the hell did Arya get past all those other Night King generals to get to the Night King, things like that. But it served its purpose. I can. It was interesting, like I said, all Tyrion's people during that their little get together, staying alive and all that stuff. That was fine and stuff. But in terms of, I guess, after this thing, death, I'm still looking at Grey Worm like, all right, man, you live to see another day, but what's going to happen afterwards? Especially since, again, the whole army is depleted now.
He he might want to dipset and take his girl with him, like for real, for real.
I mean, so I'm really looking at him, and I'm actually looking at what's his face, the Hound. He's gonna probably die.
Oh, it's going to be Clegane Bowl, right?
Mhm.
The two Cleganes are going to fight.
Yeah, so that's where I'm sitting at with it. So
Man, I don't
He was my only
know.
pick for safety this one.
Yeah.
I agree with the Hound. I thought that's the only reason the Hound was safe this episode because we still got to see him with his brother. And I think Varys might be gone before the end of the series. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If I didn't want to pick one of either, it's gonna be either Jon or Daenerys.
what rating?
I think they're all going to die. I think that the Stark children, the little children, Sansa and Arya survive, and Jon dies. So it's just Sansa and Jon's not really Ned's kid anyway. So, and then Tyrion's going to sit on the throne. I'm calling it now. Because
Wow.
he's going to have to figure out tax policy as an Irish.
Wow.
It may be that there is no Seven Kingdoms. It could be that things end and it's just a feudal system again, and there's no United Kingdom, which would be fine.
That's what I kind of think.
It might be better off in the long run based on the way Sansa is acting.
And then Essos is going to come over and just take it all.
The Bank of Bravos already owns them all, so
I know. I mean, y'all trust in that golden company. What? I would never choose a bunch of mercenaries as my protection.
that never works out.
All I'm
That
saying.
never works out.
It doesn't.
Remember that scene in Braveheart where like is it the Irishman?
The Irish-
The Irishmen like run up and they like start shaking hands and stuff.
And we know that the Golden Company was started by a different line of Targaryens. So I'm not really. I really don't. I mean, they might even bring that up in the show. They might even bring that up. But the way that last conversation, the Bank of Bravos, the Iron Bank had with Cersei, when she was like, "Oh, you really changed things up, didn't you? Paying us all our money back at once." Banks don't like that. They want that interest. They want all that interest. So I don't trust the bank, the Iron Bank. If I was Cersei, and also mercenaries realize you ain't got an army to protect yourself, and they're your only protection. Yeah.
Think about it this way. Hey, Tyrion and Sansa really connected in this episode. Imagine a world where Tyrion is king and Sansa is his hand. Where like the political thinker is actually the hand, and then the king is actually that's a whole political force right there. The two of them.
Yeah. I think for me, I give the episode actually a 10 out of 10. I've never seen a show start from the beginning until the end for an hour and 36 minutes just fighting. It was an epic spectacle. They had so many different great performances. I mean, these are gonna get some heavy awards for sure. What they had to do to even shoot this, I think it was like 56 days worth of shooting, and they did it at nighttime. He willingly did it at nighttime. I just loved every second of it, and I think the thing about it is that having it at nighttime, it raised so many like hairs on my head because I was like, I don't know what's really gonna happen. So I actually really loved it. I guess to y'all's point about Cersei, like she's sitting there trusting Euron Greyjoy, like he could screw her completely over. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know where things are gonna go, but it's definitely not the way that we think. I don't even know if the Clegane Bowl is actually gonna happen. I feel like every single time you put an expectation on something completely goes and deviates and goes a different way. So I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen, or if like Brienne is the one that has to kill the Mountain because the Hound gets killed or something like that. There's so many different ways it can go. But if I had to suspect a death, I would say that, man, I don't want Greyjoy to die. I really want Greyjoy to dip with the old girl, for real.
Wait, Greyjoy?
Yeah, not Greyjoy, but Grey Worm.
Grey Worm.
Yeah, I don't want Grey Worm to die. You know what? I think Tyrion might die. I think that Tyrion legit might die at the end, and I think that Dany's gonna die. I think that those are the two big deaths that are gonna happen, and they're gonna happen for specifically distinct reasons. I just don't know how or why. And the other part of this that none of us has talked about, none of us have brought up, is the fact that yes, Bran set all these different things in motion for preservation of life of himself, and I guess whatever he represents. But I personally do not trust Bran. I don't. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But I just don't trust Bran. Y'all might not agree or not. I might sound crazy, but there's something about Bran that I just don't trust. And it's like
You don't trust to do what?
I don't know.
You think he's got ulterior motives, or?
I'd agree with that.
I think
he's literally just a big old history book. That's why he's such a boring character.
I think he absolutely does have his own ulterior motives, but not by his own driven sense. It's like he's moving this path because he is made to do so. And I don't think he cares about preservation of life of anybody else. I mean, yeah, he said to Theon, "You're a good man." He said that because that's what Theon needed to hear, not because he actually felt it. I don't really think he cares about
That's a good point. That's a good point.
He's more like the Watcher in Marvel or something. Like he's literally just the repository of history.
So Sam, I thought that same thing. Like he knew what Theon needed to hear to get pushed that last little point, right? And he's kind of been doing that the whole season. Like, all right, I'm gonna say this now. We don't have time for this. After you've already argued and gave those looks, I'm gonna say this now because this will give you another little push to do this. So I don't think necessarily can't be trusted. I just think that this is that Dr. Manhattan moment where I live in the present, the past, and the future. You guys have already died 50 million times to me, like in different ways. So I think that's a great point. Also, 9.3. I didn't get my rating. It's like a 9.3. Probably the best piece of television we've ever seen. Probably.
Yeah, it's easily been a movie for real.
Oh, absolutely. If I just showed somebody these 3 episodes, the first 3 episodes, like that's an amazing war movie, fantastic, like almost to the caliber of like Helm's Deep or something like that. So, they said Helm's Deep was their inspiration in making this episode, and you could definitely see it. So,
yeah, I think it was better than Helm's Deep. If I had to be honest, I think it was. I'm gonna rewatch it this week, but like, man, we are
came first though. There's something to be said for doing it first as well as it was done.
Things come before us, so you can improve them in the future, right?
That's what I'm saying. So it may be technically better in some ways, but
you can appreciate
showing us what that could be.
You can still have love for the past, Patrick. I'm old now. I appreciate the past too. I'm good.
Yeah,
but
live in the past.
Yeah, funny. Well, I guess
I give it a 9. I give it a 9.
9 out of 10. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair. But yeah, let's close everything else. You guys, if you want to plug whatever you got. I
want to plug Anthony. He's amazing. He's like the coolest guy.
Oh, that's only because I got good friends like you to support me, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Wearing my Superboy shirt. What's up with that? Sorry.
I stole it. I want to plug you, Sam. Thanks for letting me go to AwesomeCon, like setting that up and everything like that. I really do appreciate it. I had a great time. Took lots of pictures.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad you really enjoyed it, bro. And your boy, CJ.
Like I said, listen to my ramblings on Twitter at CJWizGeek. Putting up stuff on our 3 Black Geeks YouTube page from AwesomeCon. That was fun. Kind of mad I missed Anthony in his Captain America outfit.
I will return.
Spoilers.
Yeah, you go to our YouTube channel. We're going to be uploading some stuff this week. If I don't get tired, because that's been my motto this past weekend, has been getting a lot of sleep as soon as I got back from AwesomeCon. So, we're putting out a podcast episode this week. I'm actually putting out an episode on Kingdom Hearts. I'll probably drop either tonight or tomorrow or whatever. It's going to come out this week.
About 3? Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. And I guess now that our boy DJ Sue is back from Japan permanently, I guess that's going to kind of kick things in terms of a lot of YouTube content finally and stuff, and we're not upholding to just his schedule in Japan. So
Japan's
Yeah.
unprotected. I can go there now.
yeah. But either which way, a lot of content coming our way and stuff, and we'll probably be around doing more of the stuff with Sam on this Game of Thrones stuff to the end of the season, and also whenever he does his Gotham episode, I'm gonna jump on that and ramble on that as well. So that's about it.
Yeah, definitely, y'all check out all these guys' amazing content. Thanks, you guys, for coming. Me and CJ were gonna be doing a double recap on Cloak and Dagger because I looked at the episode finally. It's pretty dope episode. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. But yeah, we'll be back next Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed this full discussion. And I didn't know we were gonna go this long. I can't believe we went an hour and 30 minutes. The length of the episode. All right, y'all take care. Keep it locked. JVS, we're gonna stop. Peace, guys.
Peace.
Oh,
Bye.
snap. And we are kind of out. Or no? Yeah, we are. Oh man.
Always a pleasure.